Talk to us about the growth, because you've been adding more and more companies to help, with the custody, with the protection of their crypto assets, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Caroline. So, what we do, we basically provide a custody infrastructure for financial institutions, mainly fintech firms, banks, and other financial intermediaries that eventually either they're using this service for themselves, or they're basically creating white label solutions for consumers, for retail clients. And as you can imagine, there's more and more interest created in crypto. 2021 was an amazing year overall for the industry. Our client base went from 100 clients, 100 institutions that were using us at the beginning of that year to over 800 where we finished 2021. And that's because of all of those clients want to make sure that they have access to the most secure and well-protected infrastructure.
And maybe that's why, of course, your own market capitalization goes up to something like $8 billion. It's the likes of Bank of New York Mellon, Revolut. We're looking at some of the companies that you help support. Galaxy Digital itself. We were just talking about that crypto index that we sort of share with Galaxy Digital. I'm interested in whether you move outside the world of financial players, whether at the moment is the low-hanging fruit financial institutions that aren't yet offering a crypto offering that would become your future clients, or is the world your oyster?
Yeah, so actually, much to our surprise, and I must admit that the NFT sort of phenomenon also caught us by surprise, but because we've really invested in infrastructure for DeFi, and for those who are not so much familiar with the industry, NFT and DeFi, they have a very similar infrastructure. We were also well positioned for NFTs. And while we still see most of the momentum inside of the financial sector, in the last couple of months, we start onboarding customers that are really outside of the financial industry, mainly companies that provide gaming. So in the gaming industry, we see a lot of momentum. Clearly, it's sort of correlated to the metaverses. I think there is a pretty interesting future to both gaming and metaverse, where NFTs really play a big role. And also other businesses such as marketplaces, where they are sitting in the middle of those transactions and they can greatly benefit from this technology. So we're definitely seeing right now the expansion of the services that we offer to, just generally speaking, businesses. And I think that over the next 5 to 10 years, we will see basically most of the businesses leverage this technology for just value that they create, content that they can tokenize. It's very interesting.
I mean, of course, we've been hearing a lot of the world of NFT combining with YouTube, with parts of Alphabet, which interestingly, the VC part potentially, CapitalG is obviously related to Google. How much are some of the investors that you're currently bringing on, CapitalG being one of them? We were looking at some of the other ones that you've been with, Spark Capital, D1 Capital. How are these companies sort of thoughtful for you in terms of being strategic investors?
Yeah, so first of all, I think those are some of the powerhouse VCs that for a fairly long period of time, they were actually not in the crypto. They were not investing in this industry. And I think in the last year or so, they sort of started to pay attention and invest in companies like ourselves. Clearly, with some of those names that we mentioned, there are strategic discussions that are on the broader corporate strategy that they have. I think that many companies, basically in all the big Web2 companies, that they have a lot of content that is generated on their platform or gaming. Google is one of them, Microsoft, Amazon, and many others, right? They are thinking about their strategy. What are they going to do with digital payments, and what are they going to do with NFTs? And having those people and those folks on our balance sheet and aligning with them strategically definitely helps with having those conversations. Also, to be honest, we like to be strategic partners and sort of thought partners to a lot of those people, because given the fact that we see what's going on in the industry today, and we are working with many of the innovators, many of the startups that are really developing the new things, we can help them to understand how exactly it works and what ideas really are really meaningful for them.
What about, legislation? What about the ways in which currently not only the United States government, but worldwide, that institutions are looking at the development of crypto and understanding how to regulate it?
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of regulatory push in the last year or so. I think that overall the narrative in the cryptocurrency industry actually changed to welcome the regulation, right? As long as it's basically aligned with the technology, because what we believe, and I think many others starting to believe, is that there is actually a better way to do consumer protection, anti-money laundering, and all the important things that regulation brings inside of the crypto ecosystem using crypto tools. So one of the things that we've actually done recently, we created a DeFi marketplace with a company called Aave that is enforcing sort of permissioned regulatory screening on the edges of that market and allows a licensed institution to participate in DeFi, which before that was sort of impossible, because as a licensed institution, you couldn't actually figure out if you're going to undermine any off-fact regulations or things like that. So overall, I think that there is a pretty interesting development on that front, which will be positive to the industry.